Hello fellow modelers, in this video I'm going to build a small forest diorama for my Soviet 8-wheel tractor which I made recently. A little bonus will be that I will show you how to create a conifer tree. So let's start. I usually try to draw a basic plan of a terrain and position of different elements, like a tractor, conifers and road. I say it in every video, but really try to set a small dimensions of a diorama as much as possible. I chose 17 to 13 centimeters. It will be relatively large, because I decided to create more complex terrain with the flat earth, and also the tractor is larger than the most of 72 scale tanks, which I made before. I use perfect light and durable material for base, which is Extruded Polystyrene. You can buy it mostly in the house supply store. I am trying to sculpt crooked road with an ordinary cutter. Just be careful not to cut your fingers. If you have resistance wire, you can cut polystyrene with a heat. It seems that the one block of polystyrene is not enough. Therefore I glue the second polystyrene block with a PVA glue. I read a few books about dioramas, and they recommend this white clay from DAS. Honestly, I had a bad experience with a similar clay because it cracked me while drying. But this one should be much better, so let's see. The clay dries properly after a few hours, so you have a lot of time to overlay the material over the whole diorama. You can simply soften or smooth material with the water, and it's also possible to modeling terrain with the sculpting tools. You can buy them in any art supply store. I use for frame Balsa Wood. I glue it with a PVA glue and fix position with pins for wooden ships models. So back to the terrain. I found clay very useful, so I'm trying to, if it's possible, to sculpt some basic shapes like a stump. Obviously it is not a problem. I recently got for testing new acrylic textures from Damek. I applied a small amount on the cup, so you can easily see the result. I think if you are making wargaming miniatures, it will be perfect for figure bases. I will probably buy a few bottles for my brother, which has a huge Space Marine army. In each bottle is 250 milliliters, so again this is the advantage of the small models. You do not save only time, but also money. Maybe you remember my previous dioramas when I used mix of plaster, sawdust and water. The disadvantage was that you didn't have a lot of time for application and sometimes it was messy. As you can see, the application is straightforward. Drying time depends on layer thickness and temperature, but in my case the texture was soft even after 1 hour, so you have a lot of time to create all details. I told you that I want to create muddy ground with a deep tractor wheel tracks in the previous video. I took a few photos for inspiration meanwhile my visit to Slovakia mountains. You can also use MUD texture, but more straightforward is to create the base structure with a clay. Now I'm measuring wheel size and track size with a model. I will cover wheels with a MUD in the end, so some excess clay on the wheels is not a problem. Hopefully I have spare parts from the second kit, so I don't need to use already painted wheels from the model. This is the result. It is interesting, but better is unify the whole surface with one color and then paint some shading with different colors. I think it is time for some vegetation. I recently made my super cool static grass applicator from old primer bottle, RC helicopter battery and 40,000 volt generator. In this case the design is not in the first place, you can find blueprint in the video description. I needed a small and compact design for detail work, therefore I made it from bottle. If you need something more powerful and definitely better designed, you can check a video from Towan. The link is in the video description. I attach a metal pin with a negative charge and turn the power on. It seems that it's working. And I use for this diorama static grass with a 4 mm length. I also made grass turfs with a similar method. Lovely details are bushes and vegetation from different manufacturers for railroad models. For example, this one is from Model Scene. Here is another example of heavy mud in real terrain. You can use a plaster and mix it with a brown pigment and clear varnish. But easier is again already prepared mud texture. I am applying soft layer, which I can nicely overlay over the whole surface. I can add more vegetation, which I found in the forest. I like different types of moss because it has a lovely small structure, so it is perfect for our models because it's for free. I can simply create with it a nice imitation of ferns. Here you can see how subtle details this moss have. It looks fresh, but it's perfectly dry. I have it already 1 year in the box and still looks beautiful. Another excellent example of a natural material which you can find is with rotten wood. All the small details making the whole diorama more interesting but also realistic. I promised you conifer tree, so here is my first one. Do not worry, I will show you how I made it. First you need some wooden skewers for the trunk. Then metal wire, I think this one has 0.2 mm thickness. Then drill bits with the same diameter like a wire. Then super glue, glue in spray and of course static grass. I use 4 mm length for the base structure and for needles 1 mm long. And again my cool MacGyver static grass applicator. It can generate 40,000 volts, but it has a low current. So if you touch it with a finger, you will feel only itching. Okay, maybe a little bit stronger itching, but it does not kill you if you do not have some electronic features in your body. So let's start. First I am modifying trunk because I need tapered shape. Now I'm drilling a few small holes for branches. You can drill them randomly. In the end, it is not a problem to modify the shape of wires as you want. The tree looks awfully, but luckily static grass will cover it. You can probably apply glue with a paintbrush, but very handy is this glue in spray. This one cost me $80 or so. So the conifer trunk is covered with a glue, so now I'm applying 4 mm long static grass. Now I'm removing excess static grass, which is thick on the trunk. I let the glue dry properly for 1 hour, and now I'm applying the second layer. The adhesive is transparent when dry, so don't worry, it will not be white. I found in my supply box for dioramas sweet 1mm long static grass for needles, made by Noch. I never used it before, so I forgot that I have something like this. And again, I am removing excess grass. And one more and taller. Maybe I could create a separate tutorial with different types of conifers. You can write a comment if you want to see tutorial like this. The trees are not finished yet, but I let the glue dry properly for 2 hours. From the bottom side our needles usually dry, so I spray them with a brown color, and the rest of conifer with a dark green. I think it looks relatively realistic for the first try. I think it's time to add a tractor model. I cannot forget to apply MUD also on wheels. I have a feeling that something is still missing. Just some nice small details, like animals? I found in local railroad shop animals for 80 scale made by Bush. I use few of them, especially like owl and butterfly. And I think that diorama still looks very dry, therefore I mix Vallejo still water and brown acrylic color. And with these details is diorama finished. Maybe you will decide to create something similar. You can apply snow and make a diorama more interesting. But I already made something similar with my King Tiger diorama, so this one no snow. The tractor has winter camouflage, but in all pictures what I found is in the spring and covered with mud. I like it because it creates a nice color contrast. If you will paint it green, it will be probably hidden in the green terrain. I already have plans for another diorama models, so I'm looking forward to sharing my experience with you. Thanks for watching and see you next time.